These Philadelphia Eagles need to make a big stride in the 2025 season. And we're talking about edge rushers because I think there's a couple edge rushers that are not getting the respect they deserve. And Howie Roseman has set this edge rushing position up for not only this year, but years to come. I think it's a very successful thing that's going on right now. And we really need to talk about it in a lot of ways here because we have OTAs right now and we have a mini camp practice on June 10th. And then we have pretty much training camp mid-July, and it's all going to unveil itself, and I'm pretty excited for it. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope it's having a fantastic day today. So here we're going to be talking about, as OTAs are going on, we're going to be talking about the edge rushers because I think we're very excited for this next step. You know, what's the next step for some of these guys that are coming into the room? Obviously, your defensive line definitely took a hit because of, Josh Sweat walking, and Milton Williams walking. Depending on what, the prices and what these edge rushers were going to cost, the Eagles are not paying over $30+ million for an edge rusher. I don't care how young or old he is. The Eagles are using what they have, and the Eagles will go get more. And that's what they did. And really, when it comes to Nolan Smith, just to make it kind of quick, simple, and just to say, like, Nolan Smith had his best stride in the 2024 season, went to the playoffs and broke an Eagles record for multiple sacks by the same Eagles player, I think, since Trent Cole, okay, for playoff games, which is, I think, what, 4 or 5 sacks, something like that, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, this is a guy that was a first-round pick. Sometimes bringing in that right coach really changes what the players are. Fangio wasn't here when they drafted Nolan Smith, so it's just crazy how he just walks in his first year and just does all this and just knows how to use players to their success. Never set them up to fail like Gannon did, like Desai did. If a young guy is better than an older guy that should be starting, he's going to start the younger guy. He's not just going to start the older guy just because he doesn't care about pissing any players off. But Nolan Smith has really gained a lot of my respect, not only for a guy that slowly but surely was just getting better every week. And we're kind of waiting until he was really going to flourish, and he did in the playoffs. And I think it was really the best moment for him. And might not be the biggest defensive end we've ever seen, but let me tell you, this guy packs a punch with attitude, toughness, and he's just tough, and it really takes over the entire game. This is one of a few guys on this roster right now that has won a national championship in college. Okay, now he's won a Super Bowl. So what is the next step for Nolan Smith? It's to get a double-digit sack season next year. Double-digit sacks is where it's got to be, in my opinion. Now he can't look like he's building himself up anymore. I mean, yeah, the first few weeks, the defense has to gel, so things might look a little weird like it does every season. But realistically, Nolan Smith, like, he better be the best he could be this year. And his numbers better go a little bit higher this year. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. And I don't really worry about him too much. But I see Eagle fans that really don't talk about him a lot. He ain't no Aiden Hutchinson, but let me tell you, he's getting there. He's definitely getting there. It might not be as fast, it might not be, but let me tell you, like, with one wasted year in 23, he would have been a lot closer if 23 was a more productive year under a good defensive coaching staff. Not his fault. This is just what it was. I was blind to that, obviously, of how bad the coaching was, and then finally just ripping them apart at the end of the year because I really basically knew it was on them. Another player that we could talk about too, I think that gets no respect. Nolan Smith gets more respect than this player, but Jalix Hunt's another one. I mean, look, this is what was he, a third or fifth round pick, whatever he was. Okay. Um, you know, Jalix Hunt is, came from Houston Christian, safety transition to an edge rusher, not some big conference or anything like that when it comes to competition or anything. And then went to the Eagles offseason program. He ended up getting hurt. And then that was pretty much it. He missed a lot of time. He came back and played special teams. And then he started to get into the rotation really late in the season. And it took him a while. It's like a few of those regular season games were his preseason games. And he did absolutely amazing. And then once he hit the playoffs, just like Nolan Smith, it's almost as if like he was ready to go and the whole thing changed up. His game totally changed by that moment. You know, a couple sacks of the playoffs is great. The Super Bowl was just great. It's almost as when you go through a season like this. And Vic Fangio is the one that actually said, hey, like he needed time. That's where we're kind of at with Jalix Hunt. Once you look at the postseason stats, they're almost the fucking same. I'm not saying that, you know, Jalix Hunt is Josh Sweat right now, but he's producing almost at the same level as what he did in the playoffs, which is great. And that's an awesome thing, you know what I mean? So you can't even like dog down on it as of right now of what they're doing. What makes camp even more special, what's going to happen in mid-July, is that Howie Roseman is signing a bunch of hungry players that really want contracts. They're getting an opportunity to play for the Eagles that just came off a Super Bowl with still a pretty good football team. And we're talking about Joshua Uche, okay? Joshua Uche was traded from Kansas City last year in 24. He only played 6 games. Before that, what do you have, like 11 and a half sacks with the Patriots or something like that? Joshua Uche is going to be a good player. I feel like he's going to make he's a natural edge rusher. He got traded to learn a really intricate scheme from Spagnuolo. Even Spag said they couldn't do much with him like after the trade because it was just he had to learn an entirely new defense. Under Fangio in this defense, I think Uche is going to make noise. Ojulari, Azeez Ojulari for the New York Giants, I mean, it's another guy that had some sack numbers last year. Last 2 years, he's got some good stats, but this guy just can't stay healthy. There's another Giants player that either plays bad or is just not healthy with that team, comes to the Eagles, and he'll probably be a double-digit sack guy. Let Azeez Ojulari walk like that right into the Eagles' hands. You know, it is what it is. And you have a very good player. Even that Antoine Powell Ryland Jr. that they drafted. I mean, nobody drafted him higher because he's got short arms. I mean, that's another guy that literally there's nothing wrong with him. There's no injuries. There's no nothing. Literally, it's just because of his metrics, of his arm size. That's it. And he's got an opportunity to show something. Howie Roseman is just, he's dunking on everybody right now. And when it comes to this competition coming up for the edge rushers, and obviously Bryce Huff is going to be the big question going forward. We don't know what's going on with Bryce Huff. I don't know what's going to happen with him. But all these edge rushers, I mean, if Bryce Huff can't even beat out like 3-4 of them with the money he's making, there's going to be a problem. I'll be shocked at this point if he's still around. So there's just too much talent right now. With the amount of edge rushers that you have right now, I think it's a big success, not only for it's going to be some tough roster decisions, and you're hoping in some of these preseason games, some of these guys really show out. But when you have guys that are hungry or trying to earn contracts on a team that just came off a Super Bowl, it's even better because now they're going to push themselves even higher. Howie Roseman, I don't think signs any players during the year because it's too much distraction. What he said at one of the Super Bowl interviews that he had. So we already know that nobody's going to be signed, re-signed, or extended during the year. And probably a lot of these one-year deal type guys probably won't be back with the Eagles next year. And that's fine. We have more fish to fry when it comes to extensions with some of the players we have to lock up on our own side of things, let them work for their contracts, but we have to pay and lock up some of our own. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day, and make sure you like the video as well. You guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, Paul. Peace out, guys. Peace.